I am live. Well, that's a good sign. And as you can see, I got much better lighting too. I found an old desk light. I just hooked it on my table here, and it's much better. People can actually see me. Although I'm not sure if that's such a good thing, but at least you can see me. And that. But today is again about mediumship and psychic support. Okay, and today is going to be about. Yesterday was about spiritual gifts. Well, today is about spiritual protection. Okay, and I wanted to kind of compare spiritual protection like you would protect your house. Okay, you got your alarm system in the house, and you got your surveillance outside. Okay, and basically you need both, and that way you're protected in the so-called bubble of the house security system, and then you can monitor intruders with your surveillance outside. Make sure that no one comes up in the middle of the night and does something stupid. And that, so basically, you have your protected bubble as well as an extra set of eyes for outside, kind of idea. Well, in spiritual protection, it's basically the same thing. Okay, you got your protective aura, to protect you from any kind of negative energies, and that. But sometimes, and that a negative energy, and that can actually squeeze in, especially if you're open and you got a link with someone, or you're channeling someone. I make a guess that now that I find is my own opinion, but the best time to really enhance your security or your protection, especially when you got a link with the spirit and that, or you're just open and that. Anytime that you find yourself that you're open to spirit, that's the best time to have the protection going, but have it going full strength, and that. Now, the one way that I've done it, and that whenever I go to channel more than one spirit, especially during the live streams with Derek and them, is what I do is, first of all, in your own quietude, and that, to visualize a bright white light, okay, coming out of the ground, which is the Mother Earth, which is the grounding part. At least that's what I believe, and going upward, that white light gradually seeping up through your legs, through your feet, your legs, your knees, up to your hip, and especially if you feel as though that something's not right, and you feel negative in you, and that white light will push any negativity out of your body, and that. But most important of all, it'll push it out of your auric field, outside your aura. So basically, it's pushing it out, and that. And then doing a protection prayer, and there's all kinds of protection prayers out there, based on your own belief system, and that. And by engulfing your whole being in beautiful white light, which is God's protection, and that, then once you've engulfed yourself in white light, okay, that's not only you're re-energizing and you're cleansing part, getting rid of all the negative energy, but it's empowering you. Okay, you're full of white light, Okay, and then you have your guide, and that to help introduce you to other spirit people and to give you instructions and stuff like that. That's what spirit. That's one of the jobs of a spirit guide. Basically, is to help you to connect with someone, from the spirit world, and that. And they'll also tell you whether or not they're willing to talk or whatever. That's a different topic, and that. But also, now that's just talking about the inner part of yourself, the protection of the inner part of yourself. Okay. Then there's what I call the outer perimeter security part. Okay. And just like on the house, you got your surveillance thing. Well, I got a spiritual surveillance. Okay. I consider him my spiritual security guard. And that, although there's another term for him, a gatekeeper, and that, well, he's my security guard to make sure that nothing negative gets near, and he's the one that if the negative energy wants to cause havoc, he will block him. He will stop that, whoever it is, and yes, that also includes very negative energies, and that, and but I found that as long as I rely on the spiritual protection as well as my security guard, and he'll make sure that nothing bad comes near, and my guide will help me link with other spirit people, and that. But I know some people, they kind of just jump into it, and that, without thinking, I don't need protection, I'm fine, no worries, this protection stuff, that's not for everybody. Well, guess what? And that this thing about spiritual protection, as well as having spiritual surveillance, and that, in my opinion, is a must. Doesn't matter if you're brand new to this or you've been doing this all your life, and that, preparing yourself with the proper protection, and in my opinion, should be absolutely mandatory. Okay, just like the team I'm part of, the SWYPT, whenever they go to a location, and that, now this, I like what they do, and that you get to a location, but before Derek opens up the spirit, the whole group does what is known as an opening prayer protection, so they're protected against whatever they face. And then at the end, they do what's known as a closing prayer protection to make sure nothing follows them home or what have you, and that I like a lot. That way you're protected being there and you're protected going home. Okay. To me, in my opinion, all groups should do that. And that, because if you don't, especially if you don't do the closing part and the spirit person follows you home, and I've seen that happen lots of times, that an investigator will go to a haunted location, they'll say, oh, I'm protected, don't worry about it, I got a reliable guide, and that. They go home to find out that something followed them, and they think, what the heck is going on? And I did my protection thing, I think. And that it could be either that energy followed them home, or what could have happened was that energy could have attached themselves to that investigator or that person that did the ghost hunting. So it's either a following or it could be an attachment. Now the attachment part, okay, that's to me that's not good, because not only do you have to detach that energy from yourself, but you have to send it back and say, hey, you're going back to the location, you got to stay there. You cannot hang around me, I won't allow it. And that, unless it's someone and you welcome them, that's different. But if it's someone that you don't know, someone that's like the spirit person may mistake you for someone else. That happens all the time. But still, whenever you leave a location, try to make sure, unless you're a professional and you do this all the time to help the spirit person, unless you can do that, I would say make double or even triple sure, make sure that anything that you confront at a location stays at that location, that doesn't follow you home. Because that's happened to me once or twice years ago, and luckily, at the time I didn't know anything about, setting people back, so I had to get a friend of mine to do that for me, but now, whenever I go to a location now, I say to my guide, okay, can you make sure that no one's going to follow me, and if someone does try to follow me, tell them, no, I have rules, and one of the rules is that only I leave that location and nobody else. The spirit people must stay, unless they're absolutely desperate for help and something like that. And I say, okay, you can come home with me under one condition, and that's let me help you to move on. And usually that's what happens. But you have to know what you're doing in order to invite a spirit person home from the location. Because if you don't, then the person sticks with you like glue. I think that's when things get a little bit, unnerving, if you want to use that term. But yeah, like I said, and then even when it comes to doing people that do readings, and that they open themselves up to spirit, and that they need to do the protection thing as well, because while they're open up to spirit, and that there's always bound to be one negative that might want to try and squeeze in, and I've seen that happen, and some of these spirit people are just straight stubborn, or they're so angry that they refuse to leave. You have to, you almost have to anticipate before you're doing a reading or go to a location, what have you, that you always have to anticipate that when you open yourself up, and that there's always bound to be someone or something that's going to try to weasel the way in, and to get a message across. I've seen that happen so many times, and that's basically when your guide or your gatekeeper says to this individual, okay, you have something to say, you have to wait. You have to wait your turn, because there's other people with messages that want to go first. It's kind of like being anxious going into a store and there's a huge lineup. There's always bound to be someone that want to push ahead of the line. Okay, well, it's the same idea when it comes to spirit people. Some people just don't have patience, and the negative ones definitely do not have patience. And it's always those negative ones or the pushy ones. You always have to anticipate, what they will do or what they might do or what they could do, and that's why having as much protection as possible empowers you to deal with that kind of situation. Okay, now if you want to learn more about spiritual protection, okay, like I said, I'll have a link in the description below, and what I'm going to do is put a link in there, and it's called Spiritual Protection. If you want to join the group, I highly encourage you to do so, because you'll learn so much, a lot more than what I've told you so far in the stream. Okay, it's a lifelong learning process. Even when it comes to learning more about spiritual protection, and it's a lifelong learning process. Just when it comes to growing in understanding spirit, it's a lifelong learning thing, because I'm still learning, and I'll learn until I leave this physical, and I love it too. Anyway, And if you want to join the group, I believe it's a public group. It's not private. Although I might be wrong. I've got so many groups. It's hard to keep track of them all. And that. But if you have any questions about spiritual protection or anything like that, okay, contact myself or someone else in the SWYPT group, like Derek Green or Nikki Still Medium. And that. See, Nikki and I were both empath mediums, where Derek Green is a psychic medium. Okay, and Derek and Nikki, they both do card readings. Okay, and in my opinion, they're the best. Okay, and I'll have a link in the description below for the groups of SWYPT, Derek Green Psychic Medium, and also White Rose. That's another amazing group, all professional. Okay, both SWYPT and White Rose. Oh yeah, I highly recommend both of them. And that, and also another person that does readings as well, and she's also very good when it comes to doing protection. And that's Anne Phillips Lancaster. Okay, she's also amazing. And that. So myself, I do readings once in a while, but I'm more into doing live streams. And that. So, but anyway, like I said, want to learn more about it, either join the group or just ask. And I really appreciate your time. And if you like this, stream, please hit the subscribe button, notification, and hit the bell icon. That way, every time I go live, you'll get a notification. Okay. So thank you again for your time. And I'm glad I can see myself when I'm talking. And that. So thanks for the hint from Tinker for the improving of the light. I owe you big time. God bless you. And that. Anyway, like I said, and then my next stream will be probably in a day or two or something like that. I'm not sure. And that. I'm not sure what time it's going to be yet. And that. I'm pretty sure it'll be revealed to me. See, it's my gatekeeper, Jeffrey, or my other guy, Jeffrey, that he is the one that inspired me to do all this. And that, well, he's the one that gives me kind of subtle hints of what the next topic's going to be. And he felt as though that the spiritual gifts and spiritual security, or spiritual security, and our spiritual protection, and that one should follow the other, and that, which I totally agree, and that, so it worked out nice. And that, so my hats off to my guide and my gatekeeper that are helping make all of this possible, and by giving me these ideas. God bless both of you. And once again, thanks so much for your time. And now, if you like this stream, hit the thumbs up, but let me know what you liked about it. But if you didn't like it, hit the thumbs down and let me know what you didn't like about this stream and that. And if you had any suggestions, any hints, any ideas for future streams, please leave in the comments below. I'm totally open to any suggestions and that. And but yeah, if you like the stream, hit the like and that, because I really appreciate your support and that. And once again, as I say at the end of every stream, and that is, thanks so much, and love and light to all. Okay, bye.